Hello and welcome to the lecture of International Business Environment. In this lecture, we will going to have a discussion on Block 2, Globalization Process and Forces, Unit 5th, Globalization and Overview. Topics which are we going to cover is first introduction, then what is globalization, what are those major forces of globalization, effects of globalization on world economy, globalization at a firm corporate level, cross-border mergers and acquisitions, and globalization. Now, yes, as we discussed that now we will going to have a discussion on what is globalization. Globalization basically क्या होता है? अगर हम globalization की बात करें तो globalization is to be globe. That means when the organization puts effort to make its business at a very global level. Globalization is basically help an organization to be into the world trades. That is why it is having all the business activities into the another country or have at a world level. If we talk about all the business activities are basically talking about like having all the functions of a business with the help of strategic alliances or with the help of mergers and acquisitions. Globalization is basically a process of transformation of local और रीजनल फिनोमिना इन द ग्लोबल वन. सो ग्लोबलाइजेशन एक प्रोसेस है जहां पर चीजों को ट्रांसफॉर्म किया जाता है लोकल से दूसरे रीजन्स के अंदर. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कंसीडर्ड एज प्रोसेस ऑफ कंबाइनिंग ऑफ इकोनॉमी, टेक्नोलॉजी, सोशल, कल्चरल एंड पॉलिटिकल फोर्सेस. इसमें हम हर चीज को कंबाइन करते हैं. दैट इज वी कंबाइन ऑल इकोनॉमिकल रिसोर्सेज, इकोनॉमिकल फैक्टर ऑफ पर्टिकुलर कंट्री, वी कंबाइन ऑल टेक्नोलॉजिकल, सोशल, कल्चर एंड पॉलिटिकल फोर्सेज. So in that case, that globalization is basically state that जब एक पूरी ग्लोब जो है वो एक वन मार्केट की तरह परफॉर्म करती है. That is what the major function of globalization. इसीलिए ग्लोबलाइजेशन ये कहता है कि ये इकोनॉमी, टेक्नोलॉजी, सोशल, कल्चर एंड पॉलिटिकल फोर्सेस का एक कॉम्बिनेशन है. So that is why it is basically the transformation of all your local activities to the global level. Now, if we talk about the globalization in terms of OECD, so they are basically discussed about globalization as that yes, globalization is one which have a geographical dispersions. That means the geographical boundaries are there. Yes, there are a numbers of industries working into the different territories. Plus, they considered all the cross-border networkings. So you have with the help of globalization, a company can have a good network, but yes, they were geographically different. So this is what the understanding of a globalization was given by OECD. So OECD is basically defined as Organization of Economy and Development. Now, what is globalization? When we talk about the formal definition of globalization, so it is basically a process of being into the economic integrations. हम इसमें बहुत सारे economic integrations में आते हैं और ये एक process होता है जिसमें there was the expansion of business, that means expansion of trade between the goods and services. इससे इम्प्रूवमेंट होती है ट्रेड के अंदर. गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोवाइड करवाए जाते हैं डिफरेंट लेवल पर और उनकी प्रोडक्शंस इंक्रीज होती हैं. और यस, ग्लोबलाइजेशन की मदद से हम लोग अपने फाइनेंशियल कैपिटल्स को भी ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. वी कैन और द कंपनी कैन बी अ global brand. It's a development of a global brand as well as it's basically to have a labor migrations. Yes, that is what the factors of that particular country can be moved from one country to another. There may be a high level migration of laborers. एक particular country से बहुत सारे जो human resource होता है वो दूसरी country में जाके perform कर सकता है. And yes, at the same time, it's an economic integration of a new nation joining the trading system. So it's about having into the trading system. If we talk about globalizations, what are basically the factors which are, or yes, what are the benefits which globalization states? The very first is declining in the transfer and non-tariff barriers to the trade. It is basically helping to minimizing the tariff and non-tariff barriers, and yes, at the same time fall in the transportation cost, affect the containerization. Yes, the transportation cost also decreases. They also considered the lower communication cost. Communication cost is minimized because with the help of globalization आप उस particular local country के अंदर जाके, और you can say that आप host country के अंदर जाकर एक communications कर सकते हैं. It may minimize that cost. At the same time, new country के अंदर भी आप enter करके एक world trade system के अंदर अपनी एक positions बनाते हो. And yes, at the same time, liberalization of domestic market is one of the effects of that globalization, and the one of the important is what the rise of a living standard. जो एक इकोनॉमी का जो लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड होता है वो ग्लोबलाइजेशन की वजह से बहुत ज्यादा इंप्रूव होता है, क्योंकि बिकॉज देयर वाज अ चेंज इन द मार्केट, देयर वाज चेंज इन द मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर, तो ऑटोमेटिकली दे अफेक्ट्स द कंज्यूमर्स चॉइसेस एंड कंज्यूमर प्रेफरेंसेस. Now, what are those major forces which are we going to consider in the globalization? The major factor or the force to be considered in it, the international trade and globalization. What exactly the international trade practices are? Currently किस तरह की trade practices follow हो रही हैं? क्या international trade exactly है और किस तरह से globalization affect करेगा? Because globalization आने से international trade को बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट आया था. Yes, they improve their working and they give another extent to the international trades. Second is the international capital flow. As we discussed that yes, we can have a financial investment into the other countries. Financial investment say we can give the benefits to the capital flow in that particular country. तो उससे एक industry और एक पर्टिकुलर कंट्री का कैपिटल फ्लो इंक्रीज होता है, एंड यस इट्स बेसिकली गिव्स अ बेनिफिट टू द इंटरनेशनल कैपिटल फ्लो. द थर्ड वन इज globalization and technology. The technological adaptation, technological improvement is a one factor which is going to be considered also, because when we were saying that the globalization was there and you can perform anywhere in the world, so in that sense there is the automatic shift of technologies to the different countries. So ग्लोबलाइजेशन से यस एक कैपिटल प्रैक्टिस और जो ट्रेड प्रैक्टिसेस होती हैं और जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल प्रैक्टिसेस होती हैं उन सब में एक इफेक्ट आता है, एंड यस इन ग्लोबलाइजेशन ऑल दीज थिंग्स मस्ट बी कंसीडर्ड. नाउ इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन. वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी पर देखा जाए तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन आने से किस तरह के इफेक्ट्स आए थे. तो सबसे पहला इफेक्ट है दैट इज ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी इज इंटीग्रेटेड डे बाय डे. यस, everything was integrated nowadays. That means it's very much related, very much synchronized. In that terms, it is one of the effect of globalization. Another, volume of a world trade has grown at a faster rate. Yes, the trade was high. There was good numbers of export and imports between the different countries. So that's come into value of a world trade. Another is foreign direct investment in the global economy. Yes, there is the very good FDIs moved in the one economy to another economy. Globalization basically gives in a chance to the economy to be in the or to have a good FDIs. Then another is multilateral trading system was introduced in the economy. Yes, you can perform your business at a very multiple level. आप different countries में different तरीके से perform कर सकते हैं, तो वो multi level में perform करने की permission globalization से मिलती है. Then trends of allowing the barriers to be a free flow of goods and services and capital amongst the countries. Another is the growth of a world trade. Yes, as we discussed in a previous that इससे एक world trade बहुत बड़ा है. Economy have a good scopes, good opportunity, good chances to perform in the different economy and get the benefits. और इसी transactions की वजह से एक पूरा world trade improve होता है. Whole world is considered as in a single market. Yes, because an organization can perform their business anywhere with the help of globalization. So in that terms, इसको एक market माना जाता है. One market, whole world is a one market. Then increasing opportunity for the firms. It basically yes rise the opportunities as well as threat for the firms also. But opportunity scopes are many nowadays. Then innovations have started spreading faster. High number of innovations was there. and yes, it's basically spread in a very faster, rapid rate. Then yes, imports are penetrating deeper into the world's largest economy as a whole. Yes, it is basically what the importing was again affected by the globalization part. Now, if we talk about globalization, now what is basically the effects of globalization at a very firm and corporate level? If we talk about the effect of globalization, so firm has to consider the one global market for the standardized product, consumer product. If they consider that yes, there was the very much required standardized factors in it, so that comes into this. Another is business chain comprises as in a firm main activity, because now the business is performing at a very similar level. हर business के perspective से अगर हम globalization को देखते हैं तो इसका मेन मोटिव यही है टू ब्रिंगिंग आउट द स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड पर्सपेक्टिव, क्योंकि अगर एक कॉर्पोरेट स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड प्रोडक्ट और स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड मेथोडोलॉजी से ग्लोबलाइजेशन में एंटर होगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली इट्स अ बेनिफिशियरी फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और उससे वो उतनी ही बेटरली तरीके से परफॉर्म किया जा सकता है. That is why globalization is also presented in the management-centered concept. There are many concepts because management or managerial perspective is one of the important aspects when it comes to the multi-performing or multilateral businesses. So management concepts को ध्यान रखते हुए भी globalization बहुत ज़्यादा perform करती है, because globalization have this kind of a strategy to consider management perspectives. That is what, considering that yes, around the head office, everything must be around the head office. Head office is ultimate responsible head of that for all the practices in the worldwide. Management basically delegates to the overseas operating units. Yes, it is what the delegation activity performed in that globalization firms. Management centering overseas operation unit with the regional coordinations. Yes, there must be a coordination between the head office and the regional levels of that particular organizations, because if you have that regional practices so एक coordination से organization उतना betterly perform करती है. And manage the total system. There must be one system. एक organizations कितने multinationally perform कर ले, but there must be a total system within. Now the cross-border mergers and acquisition. Merger and acquisition or strategic alliances are the two basic factors through which the globalizations are very popular. Or we can say that these are the two main sources through which the globalizations basically occur. Merger and acquisition is basically when two companies decide either to be merged or one company decided to acquire another company. So this basically affects the foreign direct investment flows also, because yes, there was, in every trade there is financial perspective. एक trade financial perspectives के बगैर नहीं काम करता. When जब एक ट्रेड है तो ऑब्वियसली फाइनेंशियल वर्किंग वाज देयर, फाइनेंशियल वर्किंग एंड द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी फैक्टर्स आर देयर. व्हेन देयर मस्ट बी, अगर एक ग्लोबलाइजेशन से एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की प्रॉफिट्स इंक्रीज होते हैं, अगर उसके फाइनेंशियल फैक्टर्स इंक्रीज होते हैं तो डेफिनेटली उसका हेड ऑफिस जिस इकोनॉमी से बिलोंग करता है उस इकोनॉमी को भी कुछ फाइनेंशियल जो है हेल्प मिलती है. So in that case, the merger and acquisitions directly affect the foreign direct investment flows. And yes, as well as there is the impact on the world economy and competitions. So merger and acquisitions are basically there to have a global competitions. एक पोजीशन को सिक्योर करने के लिए, अच्छे मार्केट शेयर्स के लिए बहुत सारे फर्म्स मर्जर एंड एक्विजिशंस में आते हैं. बहुत बार इस तरीके की स्ट्रेटजीज भी यूज की जाती हैं कि कंपनी वाज हैविंग अ मर्जर एंड एक्विजिशन टू एंटर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी आल्सो. नाउ द वेरी न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट, व्हाट इज Glocalization. Glocalization is what basically the company's understanding or the company mindset when the company thinks globally but act locally. That means the organization wants to be in the MNCs and they want to be into the multi-nations, but they are performing it in a very local manner. So we can state that suppose for example XYZ organization was performing or entered in the one country, suppose in India. So that was what the globalization, that with the help of globalization that particular company was entered. But now if that particular company is performing according to the taste and preferences of an Indian audience and introduce the product according to the Indian audience, that is what, to gain a high market share and capturing the maximum benefits, company enter into the glocalization. That is why glocalization is mainly used to bridge the scale between the local to the global one. It basically the act from an organization to perform in the board's perspective, in the local perspective, and in a multi-level perspective also. It basically help an organization to overcome bounded and bring out a new social classes also. So this is what the glocalization, which is basically, this concept is someone related to the internationalization, but yes, that comes into very much related to the globalization. It's an extension of that globalization. So yes, this is all about for the today's session. We were winding up here. Thank you so much.